All right, let's do this thing. Name's Sean Bilger, PDGA 92544. Just doing a little in the bag update for my winter setup here. Some things are changed. Molds mainly remain the same. Put in some colder weather stuff. You know, it gets pretty cold up here in PA, and there are some things that come in and out, but I'll go through that as we go along. Let's see. Let's start with putters. I have Blend Wardens. The nice little Team Warden stamp. I use Blend in the winter. I have about 4 sets of Blend putters. Always like to keep a matching pair. Just a psychological thing. Putt with Blend in the winter up here in PA because it gets super cold. And then in the warmers, it's either Classic Hard or Prime, depending on my preference. Yeah, so Warden, best putter I've ever putted with. Went from Judges, Daggers, Pures, everything. For the last about year and a half, the Warden's stuck. Love it. I putt them and I also throw them. So 2 throwing Wardens here. I used to throw the older super flat top Wardens, but they were almost impossible to find. The newer runs are domey. Didn't like them as much. So this is a classic soft Warden. You can tell it's all sorts of warped thumbprints, and I actually love this thing. Throw this anything from 260 and in, up shots. Hyzer flip, comes up flat, lands flat. It's beautiful. I've had this thing in my bag since I started throwing the Warden, so about a year and a half I've had this in my bag. It's probably my most thrown disc in my bag any round ever is this. A little more stable of a Warden. This is a scented Warden. It smells like those markers you get in kindergarten. This is newer. I'll rotate Blend Wardens in and out of my bag just to always keep a fresh one in my bag, so it has that slight little bit of stability where it can handle a little more power. I can, let it go on a slight hyzer. It'll pop up and softly finish to the left. So those are my 2 throwing Wardens. My other 2 throwing putters, Harps. Love, 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 love the Harp. Overstable backhands, forehand approaches. This is a soft Harp. You can tell, again, it's all sorts of beat up. This was signed by Robert McCall, EMAC, Mr. Rusco, everybody at the Pocono Raceway. It's also an ace disc. This is my approach Harp. The soft Harps just tend to just sit. No skip, no nothing. No funny business with those. You always know what it's going to do. This is a medium hand-eye Warden. I'll throw hand-eye or medium Wardens in the winter. Warmer months, I have a whole stack of hard Wardens just because I feel better for a forehand, a little more grip, and these will get some skip. So these are mainly my driving Harps. This and the Blend Warden are my driving ones, and then I have soft ones for sitting. So those are my throwing putters. We'll go to mid-ranges. I don't carry that many mid-ranges because the Harp covers a lot of that for me. So I'll start with most understable. This is an Opto Fuse, which is a truly unique stamp. It almost feels like that hybrid plastic, which is beautiful. The Fuse is nice. Throw it on a hyzer, pops up, rides right, or you can let it go flat, and it will just ride right and do nothing else. A lot of woods here in PA, so this is an awesome disc for wooded shots. You can make this do anything. And then we'll go to EMAC Truths. I only have 2 right now. Depending on the course I'll play, I have a bunch of other ones based on stability. The bar stamp ones are a little more overstable, moonshine ones. These are the ones currently in my bag, but I always have at least 2. Most of the time, 3. This is my most beat up Lucid EMAC. A little die by myself there just to try something out. This thing is beat. It will just, you let it go and it just slowly rides. Not like the Fuse where it's that understable, but it will go flat slowly. I can let it go in a hyzer, pop it up, and it's just straight. That's it. No funny business. This is my favorite EMAC in my bag because I can do anything with this. This has been in my bag since I started playing 2 years ago. So this I have a lot of trust in this disc. Throw it all the time. Another EMAC. This is a hybrid pre-Sweden DigiWeight EMAC Truth. This is my baby. This is probably the most valuable disc in my bag and one of my most loved discs in my bag. This still has that stability where you let it go flat and it'll finish left. You can let it go in a little hyzer, it'll pop up, go straight, and maybe a little left. So a little more stability than the last one. It's still an EMAC. You can trust it to do anything. The newest addition to my bag is actually an anvil. I messed around with verdicts, but then the verdicts a lot of times would overlap with my harp. The harp is similar, maybe a little shorter. I threw the Justice a lot for that super overstable utility shots, wind shots, anything like that. The anvil is maybe a tick little less overstable than the Justice, but it is still a beefcake. These SC ones are super flat. You can see that. And the anvil feels better on a sidearm than the Justice does because it doesn't have that bead. And I mean, this purple and blue is beautiful. So I have an SE in the bag for the winter because it's a little grippier. I usually throw an Opto Sparkle, but I threw the SE in the bag for the winter since it's not as hard in the hands in the cold weather. We'll go to fairway drivers. I carry a lot of fairway drivers. The woods here again in PA, you need a lot of controlled shots rather than full out distance bomber shots. So I carry a lot of fairways for those, 3 to 350 range shots, which is a lot of what we have here. So I will start, again, we'll start with the most understable. This is an SE Maverick. This thing is beat, and I mean beat. I use this for rollers. I use this for huge hyzer flips to turnover shots, and the Maverick's been awesome. We'll go on to, this is a Fusion Burst Maverick match play. It's new. Again, I cycle my Mavericks like I do my Emacs and my Wardens. I like having a lot of the same mold in different wears, so it feels the same. I know what it's going to do. They're just slightly different. This Fusion Maverick, the one thing that's unique about the Maverick as an understable disc is it turns slowly. You let it go on a hyzer, it'll pop up and slowly turn. It doesn't just start turning and dump and possibly, you just flip it over. It's a flippy disc, but it's controllable and not super flippy where you can actually really get on it. So these two Mavericks I use for a lot of straight to slightly understable shots up to like 340, something like that. So these discs see a lot of use in my bag. My second favorite mold, probably next to the Warden and the most thrown, the Explorer. Over the last year since the Explorer's been out, it's changed. I mean, I've thrown a lot of stable fairway drivers, from culverins to convicts, things like that. The Explorer just bumped them all out of my bag. I just keep a couple different Explorers in different stages of wear, and they do everything I need it to do. Everything from forcing a little bit of an ante to a stable shot. It does everything. So this is an SE Explorer. It's beautiful. I've had this since it came out. It's super beat up, and I love it. I can let it go in a hyzer. It pops up and just goes straight, and that's it. So SE Explorer. And then I have a brand new, this is actually the Snow line that they just came out. Super grippy and malleable. Kind of like a G-Star from Innova. Just put this in the bag. Threw it a little bit today. It is a little more overstable than your normal Explorers, but it'll beat in. And this Snow line plastic feels great in the winter. So not sure why it came in white. I'll have to dye it so I can actually throw it during the winter. Onto my stable stuff. I've been messing around with the Getaway. This is a Bio Getaway. I have some hybrid Getaways that I'll put in the bag from time to time. The Getaway is surprisingly stable, but surprisingly long. It's a 9-speed, but it is long. It's straight to a fade every single time. You can really, really get on these things, and it's always going to come back, but it doesn't dump. It's just a fade. So these are a tick more overstable and a tick longer than the Explorer. A lot of times the Explorer and then my next disc will cover the shots, so kind of finding a spot for the Getaway since everybody's raving about it, but I think it's got a decent chance to stay in the bag for a while. And then my overstable discs, only have 2 right now. A lot of times I will carry more depending on the course. This is a hybrid XXX. This is the beefiest disc I've ever thrown in my life. Sidearms, trouble overhands, backhand, skip hyzers, things like that. This is basically a longer anvil for me. So everything the anvil does but longer, that's what this does. And then felons, I only have 1 in the bag. I'll carry 2, maybe 3 sometimes, depending on the wind, depending on the course. This is a puddle top Fusion Felon. Just feels great in the hand for forehands. Backhands can really get on it. You know what it's going to do. It's a Felon. It's going to go straight and then dump. So this is my beat up Felon. I have some hybrid ones that I carry, but those go in and out of the bag depending on the course. But the mold stays the same. There's always at least 1 Felon in my bag. We'll go on to distance drivers. Right now, I'm only carrying 2 molds of distance drivers. I have, looks like 5 in the bag right now. It'll depend on the course again, whether or not I'm bagging more of these and less of the fairways. We'll start with understable. Used to throw the trespass, so I was messing around. I was just throwing just the trespasses, and as my arm speed got better, my form was getting better, they started flipping, and they were doing what I wanted them to do, just not, they weren't filling the spot that I wanted them to. So this is a Gold Line Ballista. This thing is beat up. It's domey. It's got that pop top. This is my max distance bomber disc. I mean, this goes out 375, 380. Sometimes, every once in a while, 400 for myself. Don't have a huge arm. Yeah, Gold Line Ballista. It's a little more understable than the trespass, so I could hyzer flip it up. It'll turn and then come back. But this is just raw distance shots. Got this in with the Snowline Explorer. It's the Snowline Ballista. Messing around with this. Love the mold. Love the plastic for the winter. So didn't get to throw this yet. We'll see how she flies. She's super domey. I'm guessing she's going to be a little more overstable than the Gold Line one. But testing them out. And then my controlled distance shots where I know what it's going to do. I recently, got turned on to these discs, and I've absolutely loved them. This is a Ballista Pro. This is an Opto Ballista Pro. It's a 168, so it's lighter than I throw. Everything else has been max weight, just because I like being able to throw it out and trust what it's going to do. Max weight takes a little of the variability out of it, but Ballista Pro, Opto, light, it's super flat. So this is my Bomber Ballista Pro. This I can throw as hard as I want. It'll turn just a little bit, but it's going to come back. So if it's not a wide open hole like with the Gold Line Ballista, but I need some reliability with distance, this is it. This is pretty cool stand. This is a recycled Ballista Pro. These just came out. They are ridiculously domey. I don't know if you can see that, but this is going to beat into probably my max distance disc. I'm probably going to end up, I picked up a stack of these because I just love that recycled plastic and how it beats in. That way I can have an overstable disc beat in, and I'll probably just end up, honestly, maybe just carrying Ballista Pros as my distance drivers. This thing's brand new. It's super domey, so it's a little beefy yet, but it's going to beat in fast. It's a recycled plastic, so Ballista Pro. My last one is a Fusion Burst Next Gen Ballista Pro. Usually the Fusion's the least stable out of all the plastic. For some reason, the Fusion Burst in the Ballista Pro is way more overstable than the Opto. So this is my sidearm distance, my overstable distance shots, 350 and over. That's the Ballista Pro here. Some other things in my bag. All my towels are out because I'm washing them. These whale sacks, kind of like a rosin bag, absolute lifesavers. I mean, even in the winter, just to dry my hands, winter, summer, everything, these things are awesome. So, carry a Ranger bag, Spec Ops Ranger, snacks, always snacks in the bag. My minis carry a Team Trilogy custom stamp mini, and then this is a hand-eye supply, a couple signatures on there. Paige Bjerkes, world champion on there. It's been used, so it's kind of fading off. But I always carry 2 minis because I tend to leave some of them sometimes, and that's the last thing you want. All right, well, that's about it, guys. Thanks. Appreciate it.